All right, today we're diving into something pretty powerful, a type of mental health care that's all about connection, sharing, and growing together. Welcome to our explainer on group therapy. You know that feeling, right? When you're going through something tough and it just feels like you're the only one in the world who gets it. That sense of isolation? Well, that's exactly what we're tackling today. Okay, so let's get right into it. What is group therapy? I mean, you might be picturing a bunch of people sitting in a circle, and yeah, that's part of it, but it's so much more than that. It's actually a really carefully designed and powerful way to approach mental health. So at its heart, group therapy is a real, structured form of psychotherapy. You've got certified professionals leading a group of people who are all working through their own challenges, but doing it together. It's an incredible way to make mental health care more accessible, and you can do it either on its own or, alongside one-on-one therapy. And who's it for? Honestly, almost anyone. The range is huge. We're talking about everything from specific things like social anxiety and PTSD to navigating really tough life stuff like grief or chronic illness. Heck, it's even for anyone who's just looking for some support and connection. The big idea is always to bring people together who kind of get what each other is going through. Okay, so how does this whole thing actually work? What makes it effective? Well, a psychologist named Irvin D. Yalom figured this out. He identified these 11 key therapeutic factors, which is basically the secret sauce. Let's break down a few of the big ones. First up, and this is a big one, the power of connection. This is really where the magic starts to happen. So the first ingredient in this secret sauce is something called universality. And it's that incredible aha moment. You're listening to someone else share their story, and suddenly you think, whoa, that's me. That's my story too. In an instant, that feeling of being totally alone just shatters. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? But it's so powerful. Just knowing, truly feeling that you are not alone is a huge first step towards healing. It's really the foundation everything else is built on. And here's something cool. It's not just about getting support. It's also about giving it. Being in that group means you get to help other people too. Maybe you offer a kind word or share something that worked for you. That act, what we call altruism, does wonders for your own self-esteem and confidence. It's the perfect antidote to feeling isolated. All right, so that's the foundation. Now let's talk about the next step, the things that actually drive real growth inside the group. A huge one here is what's called the installation of hope. Think about it. In a group, you have people at all different stages of their journey. So when you see someone who's a little further down the road and they're making real progress, that's living, breathing proof that things can actually get better. It makes hope feel less like a concept and more like something you can actually reach out and touch. And then there's catharsis. This is that powerful, almost physical release you get from finally letting out all those bottled up emotions, the anger, the grief, the pain, in a place where you know it's safe. And it's not just venting, It can lead to these sudden breakthroughs where you see things in a whole new light. Okay, last but not least, let's look at how the group itself becomes this amazing place for learning about, well, yourself. The group basically becomes a little social universe in a bottle. It's like a safe lab where you can try out new ways of talking to people, of being around them, and get real, honest feedback. You start to see how you come across to others. Maybe you even see patterns that remind you of your family life. And you get to learn just by watching how the therapists and the other members handle things. It's a huge learning experience. So, okay, we've seen why it works, but how do you actually find the right group for you? This is super important because not all groups are the same. They're all designed for different things. Let's quickly run through 5 common types. You've got psychoeducational groups. They're all about learning the facts about a condition. Skills development groups are hands-on. They help you build coping skills. Then there's cognitive behavioral groups, which help you tackle and change those negative thought patterns. Support groups are exactly what they sound like. They help you get through big life changes. And finally, interpersonal process groups. They focus on what's happening between people, right there in the room. Okay, this all sounds really good, right? But the big question is, does it actually work? What does the science say? Let's take a look. When it comes to depression, the evidence is a resounding yes. Study after study shows that group therapy can lead to really big, long-lasting improvements. I mean, some research on online groups even found that people were still doing better months after the therapy ended. That's huge. And for substance use disorder, the results are also really clear. When researchers looked at more than 30 studies, they found that, yeah, group therapy works. Compared to no treatment at all, it has a solid impact. The most important part? People in group therapy are just plain more likely to stay sober. The evidence is definitely there.
All right, I get it. The idea of sharing personal stuff in a group can feel, well, a little intimidating. So let's pull back the curtain and just walk through what a session actually looks like. No mystery.
It's usually pretty structured, which is nice. You'll start with some quick intros, a little check-in to see how everyone's doing. Then people will share what's been going on since the last time, and that kicks off the group discussion and feedback. And at the end, the therapist will wrap things up. See? It's a pretty clear, straightforward process.
And here are the nuts and bolts. You'll always have one or more certified therapists leading the way. The groups are usually kept pretty small, like under 15 people, so everyone gets a chance to talk. You'll probably meet once a week for an hour or two. And the setting is simple, usually just a quiet room with chairs in a circle, to make it easy for everyone to see and hear each other.
So let's end with this thought. We've seen how group therapy is built on these powerful ideas of realizing you're not alone, of finding hope, of growing together. It's a safe space to learn that your struggle doesn't have to be a solitary one. So the real question is, could sharing your journey be the one thing that actually helps you change its direction?